Hello there, algebra students. Mr. Lawrence here, and I noticed that on the last test, some of you were having some problems with solving for a variable, and so I thought you better back up. Now, if you're watching this, it probably means that you had a little bit of difficulty with something, and I want to help you close the gap in your learning. So let's go back and quickly review solving two-step equations. All right, and then once we go from there, we're going to apply those same skills to solving linear equations in two variables. Okay, so I'm looking at this problem number 1 here. I don't have it numbered, but there it is, and we'll call that one number 2. And I'm going to walk you through these, and we're going to do the same things to the other problems. Okay, now it's going to behave slightly different, but the actual process is the same. So I've got 2x minus 5 equals 15. Now I want you to resist the urge to do this in your head and just figure it out. The reason we show the algebra and do the work is because when we get to the ones we can't do in our heads, like the ones with two variables, we have practiced the skills that are necessary. Okay? So I know that in this equation, if I'm asked to solve it, there's only one possibility. I have to get x alone, right? I'm going to circle the variable I want to be alone. And I know I have two numbers keeping x from being alone. I have a 2, which is attached to the x by multiplication, and a 5, which is attached by subtraction. Well, remember, I listen to Saddam, and he tells me to get rid of the subtraction first. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Right? Pretty basic stuff here. I know you know how to do this, but we're just reviewing, and we're going to see how we apply this to a more complicated situation in just a minute or two. Okay, so just bear with me, please. All right, so now I have, still trying to get this x alone. That is attached by multiplication, so I'm going to divide. And I'm going to divide. Notice I'm not using division symbols, right? I'm using fractions. You'll see why soon. So the 2's will cancel, leaving 1x. 20 divided by 2 is 10, and therefore x is 10. Now I can check myself. 2 times 10 is 20. 20 minus 5, 15. It checked. All right. We'll go through this one a little bit quicker. Again, I want to get x alone, right? There's only one variable. I've got to isolate it. And I've got a 7. And a negative 3. The negative 3 is attached by multiplication. The 7 is attached by, nope, by addition. Yeah, because the 7's positive. That negative belongs to the 3, right? When we want to subtract 7 from a number, we do minus 7, not 7 minus. All right, so how do I get rid of that 7? Because Saddam tells me to get rid of the addition before the multiplication. Well, I'm going to have to subtract 7, right? Going to subtract 7. Okay, and we're going to get negative 3x equals 18. Trying to get that x alone. Okay, and that's multiplication, so I'll divide by negative 3. I'll divide by negative 3. The negative 3's will cancel here. I'll get x equals negative 6. Okay, great. So let's check out these. Okay. Now, in problem number 3, which will be this one, I haven't told you what to solve for. Okay? First one, I want you to solve for y. Okay? Now, we don't always solve for y. It depends. Depends on what's easier. But in this one, we're going to go ahead and solve for y. So I'm going to circle the y. And I'm going to ask myself what two numbers or what numbers are keeping the y from being alone. Well, I have this negative 2 by multiplication, right? But not 5, I have 5x. Yeah, I have a 5x here. This is not 5, this is 5 times x. Don't think about this number as just a 5. I've said that like 4 times in the past 15 seconds, so obviously it's important. Now, in the last problem, I subtracted 7 first, right? So here, I'm going to subtract, not 5, 5x. Right. And remember, I've told you not to put it underneath the 10 because you'll accidentally combine unlike terms. So I'm going to write it slightly off to the side. Okay, now if I were solving for x, the steps would be different. But in this one, I'm going to solve for y. So those will cancel. I'll get a negative 2y equals 10 minus 5x. And I'm going to circle that y again, right, because I'm trying to get it alone. And now I'm going to have to divide by -2 here, here, and here. Some of you are forgetting to do that. We have to divide by -2 in all 3 places. So when I do that, the y gets isolated, right, because the -2's cancel. 10 divided by -2 is -5. These two negatives will cancel, leaving me with 5/2x. Now I could put 2.5 there, but knowing that I might be graphing this equation or something like that, I'm going to leave it like that because that 5/2 is actually my slope. Do you recognize it? This equation is in slope-intercept form because I got y alone. Alright, number 4, I'm actually going to solve for x this time. Alright, so I'm going to circle the x because that's the variable I want alone. And I'm going to ask myself what numbers are keeping the x from being alone. Well, a 3, how is it attached? Multiplication. And a 9y, not a 9, a 9y. How is the 9y attached? Addition. So Saddam tells me to get rid of the addition first. I'm going to subtract how much? 9y, right, minus 9y. Okay, and when I do that, I'm going to end up with a 3x, and that's going to equal 12 minus 9y. I'm going to circle that x again just because I'm training myself to think about getting the x alone. Alright, well, how is the 3 attached to the x? If you said multiplication, you're correct. And I'm going to have to divide in 1, 2, 3 places. 1, 2, 3 places. Okay, so gonna cancel, get x. 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 9 divided by 3 is 3, and there's a y there. And there you go, x is alone. Now if you wanted to, you could go back and take these original equations and solve for the other variable. On number 3, try solving for x. And on number 4, try solving for y. If you need a little bit extra practice, and bring the work to me, I can check it for you. Alright, I'm just about done with this video here, but I've got problems number 5 and 6 for you. And I want you to pause the video and try numbers 5 and 6 by yourself. On number 5, you're to solve for y. On number 6, you're to solve for x. Okay? I'm going to write the solutions down here, but again, I want you to try them on your own. To just sit and let the video play is pointless. Alright? So if I solve for y, I'm not going to show all the gory steps. Here comes my solution. I'm going to have a y equals, I believe, -4 plus 7, 8, oh, no, silly me, 7 halves, -7 halves. Yep, I'm making a mistake, I'm so sorry. This is the danger of doing it in your head. Alright, so minus 7 halves x. Okay? And on this number 6, again, if you haven't done it yet, pause the video. I'm going to solve for x. So I'm going to get x equals, and 2 divided by 6 is going to be 1/3. And then we're going to have a -2y, I believe. Yeah, I think that's right. So go ahead, try them. If you want to come in for help, come see me. We can practice some of this. Obviously, this skill is essential in solving a problem by substitution. All right, hey, thanks for watching. Mr. Lawrence signing off. Have a good night, everybody.